And welcome to another episode of Dose and a Half Cincos. This is episode number 88. This week we cover as part of our movie of the week, The Green Knight. But before we get into it, as always, I'm your host, David.
It sounded like you said this is episode A8. But anyways,
88.
I'm Stuart.
I'm Ben.
Welcome to
Then
the
why do
low
you sound
energy
so
episode.
exasperated?
Aren't we all? I mean, isn't that just life? You just get more and more exasperated until you just die.
Well,
Isn't
so
that-
fucking edgy, bro.
Isn't that it? Welcome
It's
to
like so
Dose-
deep.
Welcome to Dosen and Edge. Cincos.
Where we take you to the limit. I mean, Sport Chalet.
Dose
could-
and edge.
All right, so outside of the movie of the week this week, The Green Knight, Ben, did you see anything else?
Yeah, I guess I watched kind of like 2.5 things.
Dose and a half, would you say?
I wonder how long we could just keep riding this. I got to watch a special preview of Dune.
Ooh, look at me. I'm Ben. I
I
have
am.
access
Wait,
to
how
the
much
special
of Dune
stuff.
did you watch?
It was about 25 minutes of it.
Oh,
Yeah.
That's kind of a lot, isn't it? That's a quarter of the movie, isn't it?
It might be less than a quarter because I think it might be over 2 hours. I think.
Oh boy.
it's actually a 4-hour epic, mega epic.
Oh, okay. Is Dune directed by Zack Snyder?
It might be.
Yeah.
Well, this is the first part, so there's going to be a part 2 later on.
God damn it.
Yep.
I'm getting sick of this break stuff up into parts thing.
I'm okay with it as long if they don't like make it super rushed and it's just like, yep, we did it.
So you're okay with what Final Fantasy VII Remake is what you're
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah.
No, you're not. Shut up.
Yes, I am.
No,
Yeah.
nobody is.
I'm okay with buying as many DLCs as it takes.
Dude, I'm not
Base
even-
game, $60,
I don't
18
even-
DLCs later.
I don't even remember what was happening in the first remake game, and they still haven't released the second one.
Yeah. So
How is that good?
So that way you'll buy it for PS5 when they have complete Final Fantasy VII Complete
You
Edition.
mean when the bot buys my PS5 and I never get it?
yes.
Maybe you'll buy a special bundle that has it. Or no, wait, the bot will also buy that. Sorry,
Yeah.
Stu, you're never getting a PS5.
Never
Just
getting a
get good.
PS5. I'm never getting a new video card. I'm
Yep.
pretty much stuck where I am right now.
Yeah, get good.
So, outside of Dune, well, what was your first impressions, Ben, about Dune?
I already had high expectations going in. Denis Villeneuve, he's been on a blazing hot streak for the past few years. Prisoners, Enemy, Sicario, Blade Runner, Arrival, like all of those movies were so fucking good. Like, I think they were my favorite movies of those years that they came out. Like, this dude just does not miss. And, well, I took Letty to go see this, and she didn't know anything about the movie. She doesn't know anything about Dune. And she was not too thrilled that we had to go right after work, and we had to wait 3 hours in line for it.
It
And
was
not
hot.
only did we have to wait 3 hours in line,
Wait, sorry, time out. Why
Yeah.
would you have to wait 3 hours in line for something you have tickets to?
yeah, that's the beautiful part. We had to wait 3 hours in line for the possibility of seeing
Oh.
the preview.
Yeah, I'm with
So you're
Letty
saying
on
there's
that.
a possibility you guys waited that long, end up, and then right before
Sorry,
you guys
Letty.
are about to go, that's it. Actually, that's it. We're going to only take one more.
I don't know how you deal with this guy, Letty. I would not have done that.
We did this for another movie. I don't remember what movie it was, but we pretty much went like an hour before the preview started, and we did not get in. So I
It was
made
it
sure.
for Mugen Train?
No one. Well, who would do that? Who the fuck would do? Anyway,
Yeah, I know, Ben.
let's
How
just
many
move on.
times did you see Mugen Train?
So Letty said that she was extremely hyped to see Dune now because of this preview. All right, just from
Oh.
those 25 minutes. And it did, I think it did a very good job of kind of showcasing a good amount of the characters and a lot of the actors that appear in it. We get a very small glimpse into what the movie is going to be about. But damn, like the scale of the movie, the fucking visuals, the music, like, and everything they showed was in IMAX. It was incredible.
So
like-
does that mean that you feel like you have to see it in IMAX when it comes out?
Oh hell yeah! Like I'm definitely
Okay.
gonna see it in IMAX. I mean, it looked. Just some of the sequences they showed off was just like Jesus. Like this looks fucking rad. You know,
Jesus
Radical.
is in Dune.
radical. Huh?
Jesus
What?
is in Dune.
Yes, Jesus is in Dune. Passion of the Christ 2, Dune. The spice must
Sandier.
rise. But yeah, it was really good. It was also kind of you know, like you see some of those movies and like they have like fan reactions and crap like during ads or something where they just interview random fans and they put into like you know trailers and whatnot.
Is that what
They interviewed you guys?
I no, they had the option of doing that, and I'm like, do I really want to be part of this?
Dude, you could have totally plugged the show. This is
yeah,
Ben
right.
from Dose and a Half.
Yeah, right. They
Sinkos.
would have chopped that part right out.
Get this guy the fuck out of here and take his poster away and his t-shirt.
And his ticket. Actually, wipe his memory.
Burrito his backpack also.
Wait, did you go to Damien? Hell yeah, we did.
All right, push him in the quad.
Then a guy just gets behind you on all fours and you get
But yeah, we were pretty hyped to see that preview, and I'm really looking forward to it coming out in October. Can't get here any faster.
Is
But
there a reason why they ran a preview if it's pretty much like what 5 months out? No, 5 months out. Like we're like can't do math anymore. 2 months out.
I don't
from
know.
seeing
Actually,
this?
I'm not really too sure. I know they did this for The Dark Knight Rises, and we did a similar thing for that, and it was also
But
around
didn't
the same
get in.
time frame. No, we got in for that one, but we were like in the back corner or something.
I think that's not as bad as being right up front.
Well, I mean, like, you know, first person in gets to choose where seats they want. In IMAX, I feel like because there's so many goddamn seats, like it kind of does kind of suck to be in the far back, right? Versus a normal theater if you're in the far back.
Oh, because you're really, really far back at that point.
Yeah, and it's like your neck is just craning at that point, you know.
Man.
So
Well, we've been waiting for this movie since what, December of last year?
it was supposed to come out last October or November, so
Yeah, it's been a whole year
yeah.
since that one. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Well, we'll look forward to that. Or hey, no spoilers, Ben. Damn it, that's as much
Well,
you get
actually,
to talk about.
I think Stu would know all the spoilers at this point, right?
Oh,
No,
you read the book.
I have not read the full. I've gotten like a chapter and a half into the book. So
Okay. Well, let me set it up for you. Paul Atreides. I don't know the rest.
Something
Well,
about
I guess I got some
worms
reading
and
to do
sand.
before this
And
movie.
Spice? The
Something
Spice
about
Girls are in it
Spice.
somehow. Where does Baby Spice come in? I don't know.
Sporty Spice. That was
Sporty
my jam.
Spice. Scary Spice. Oh, shit. It's all Scary Spice.
All right, hang on, real quick. We all have to disclose who our favorite Spice Girl was.
Baby Spice.
Sporty.
Mine was also Sporty.
Oh.
Baby Spice. What kind of basic bitch answer is that?
What the fuck? What's wrong with that? What's wrong with Baby Spice?
Everything.
Mike?
Well, you know what? It makes
Maybe.
perfect sense. He's not on Team Sporty. Let's just say that, Stu.
Could have said
Kinda
Posh Spice.
Oh
Or,
my god.
I don't remember the other ones. Scary Spice.
Pepper Spice.
Anyways.
Masala Spice.
Assault Spice.
Chinese Five Spice.
we're Spice Works.
You know, that's what was missing from the Spice Girls, an Asian.
MSG.
You know Spice. All right, so this is Frank Herbert Dune. Frank Herbert's Dune, right?
Is there
Yes.
another? Oh,
Do you know
mean
how many of the books they're planning on? Are they going to do all 6?
I know that the first book is going to get split up into 2 movies, and then after that there has been talks about a TV show, but I don't know anything about that.
Okay. All right.
Aren't we supposed to get a TV show about something that we really wanted? I can't remember now.
Yeah. What if?
No,
An animated
shut up.
TV
No.
show
Not
about what
Disney
if
related.
there were zombies in the MCU.
No,
What if Spider-Man was a spider?
it's
What
an actual
if-
spider. What if Spider-Man was man spider?
Spider with man head.
I'm pretty sure King Bowie is going to comment saying that actually did happen.
Oh.
I I'm going to put my money down on this.
Okay.
$5 says he says that it's a thing.
Actually, but
Speaking of which,
was it drawn or portrayed by Danny DeVito?
I'm the man spider. The other thing I watched was the Batman, The Long Halloween. Stu, have you heard of that one? Because I know you were on like.
I was watching a lot, but did that just come out? Because I haven't really been keeping up.
So that one was actually split into two. So it's two separate movies, part 1 and part 2.
Mm-hmm.
Part 1 came out a few months ago, and part 2
June 22nd.
It was it?
Mm-hmm. June 22nd.
Okay. Well, yeah. Batman part 2 just came out this month.
They must have just released it like right after I finished watching like all the animated ones they had on HBO Max.
Hey, Jensen Ackles is in it?
Yeah, Jensen Ackles is in it. Josh Duhamel.
Naya Rivera. Wait.
Oh man, rip.
How is she in this movie? How is she in this?
Huh?
Did they already finish?
Yeah, they finished recording all of her voice lines.
Okay.
Yeah. Rip. But yeah, it had a pretty impressive voice cast. It's been a while since I've actually watched any of these DC animated movies, but I think this series was kind of like a step up from the other ones I've seen. I don't want to give anything away about it, but
yeah, shut up! I'm gonna watch it.
Yeah, it's a good mystery.
Where can people find this? Is this on?
It's probably HBO Max.
Yeah, HBO Max.
Okay.
So go check it out. The Batman, The Long Halloween, Part 1 and 2.
Yeah, we'll look for Stu's feedback on that next week when he gets caught up on those two.
Yeah, because no one cares about Ben.
Huh?
Nothing.
Wow,
I'm just going to mute Ben until
dad all
Ben. Stu, what about you? Did you see anything else this week?
I feel like I did, but you know what? I don't think I actually watched any new movies, anything new. Big lame. Okay. I will say this though. Something I'm really excited for. That's coming out, and I've been wanting to bring it up over the past couple episodes. And I think this is what we need right now in this in 2021. This is what the world needs. I think it will bring a lot of people together in a time where there's so much division and conflict.
Stu, where are you going with this?
The world needs Jackass Forever.
I saw the preview for that when we were before Green Knight this week.
We need it so bad. I can't wait.
When is that getting released?
I don't know. Let's see.
October 22nd. That's gonna be around the same time as.
That's the same time as Dune.
Yep.
Well, I guess we're watching Jackass 4.
Here's my review of Jackass 4. I really like the CGI of the plane.
I really like Johnny Knoxville doing the prank down the sand dune.
And when they get eaten by that sand worm, oh man,
that was hilarious.
Dang, a $10 million budget. I wonder what they did with it. All right. Anything else? No? Okay. Well, I just started watching Walking Dead all over again. So, Ben, do not tell me anything because I think
you already know what happens. Why are you watching it?
Yeah. Because there's going to be one next season is the final season. So,
but what does it matter? Like Ben ruined it.
Yeah,
there's still a whole season of things that he hasn't ruined because they haven't released.
How is there one more season left? Hasn't it been like 5 years since the last season?
I don't remember, but I know that they said the season 11 will be the last one.
Man, they sure milked the hell out of this.
Oh, they're about to milk even more out of it. I'm already hearing like side.
They already have the Fear of the Walking Dead show.
They're going to be the Joy of the Walking Dead and some of the other emotions as well.
Yeah.
But apparently they're going to run some other spinoffs for The Walking Dead. So I don't know how many more. That was the thing I watched. Are you guys familiar with Kingdom? The Korean zombie
Korean one? No,
TV
I mean
show.
I haven't. I've heard of it. I haven't watched it.
Okay.
I have heard of it too because I think you asked us this like a month or
Last
two
time.
ago.
Okay. Well, they released a prequel, a special episode to that series about a week ago, and we watched it, and it kind of does something that a lot of people said that Walking Dead hasn't been able to do, which is kind of talk about the origin of the zombies. So they actually have an origin for that, for the story for it. I mean, so I thought that was kind of interesting, especially since it addresses that, as opposed to nobody knows how the zombies in The Walking Dead kind of come about. They would just have to accept that it is, and that they're running from it. So that's where there was a director's, like, a commentary that was about it, that said, "Oh, you know what? We kind of wish that Walking Dead would kind of address its origins and stuff like that." Let's see what else has come up. Oh, you guys both heard about Bob Odenkirk?
Yep.
Making
I'm glad to hear
hopefully
he's okay.
Okay, yeah, doing it. Hopefully, he'll have a
The show
speedy
must go
recovery.
on.
Mm-hmm. There will be. This is the last season for Better Call Saul, correct?
It is, and man, what a great show it's been.
Am I behind like a season, or are they currently filming that season?
They're currently filming.
Yeah, they're currently filming the final season.
Why is it taking so long?
I'm pretty sure the past year.
Hospitalized.
Fuck no, not. No, it's been like over a year.
Yeah, I think it's been the past year.
Pandemic
kind of hit that. Yeah.
God damn you, pandemic.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What else will you rob us of?
Clifford the Big Red Dog.
No, well,
actually, did
one thing that the pandemic should have taken is the new Disney show Turner and Hooch. That should have never.
Did you watch it?
No,
I didn't even know that was a thing.
David, did you actually watch it?
No,
yeah,
I just
David,
saw the preview for it, and I was like, really? You cannot.
David.
Dude, they're pulling out all these old IPs and being like, oh, we can just redo it. I'm like, dude, there are people who know what that is. Why are you trying to, whatever
because
the other
Zoomers.
Josh? Yeah, I don't know, whatever it is, but like they're trying to. I haven't seen the Mighty Ducks thing, but I kind of want to. But I'm afraid that if
he watched it, he
I
watched
have
Turner Hooch, he watched the Mighty Ducks TV show, he watched it all.
All right, here goes I can't do the same thing Ben does. All right, we're going to go over to our box office rundown for this week. At number 1, no surprise, Jungle Cruise with 35 million. Number 2, Old with 6.8, The Green Knight. And number 3, 6.7 million. Number 4, Black Widow, 6.4. Number 5, Stillwater, 5 million. Number 6, Space Jam: A New Legacy. Number 7, Snake Eyes. Number 8, F9, The Fast Saga. Number 9, Escape Room: Tournament of Champions. And number 10, The Boss Baby: Family Business. I did have one thing I wanted to talk about. It is Black Widow. Ben, what are you kind of hearing about this this lawsuit from Scarlett Johansson and possibly like some other movie stars who are also possibly going to be suing Disney over the simultaneous
release? Ben Somali on the street. Ben, what do you got for us?
Well, it's raining sideways down here in Cincinnati.
He just gets hit by a stop sign.
Well, yeah, you all probably have heard that with the release of Black Widow, the box office numbers were not what I guess the main actors were really expecting, because of this weird hybrid release where they're releasing it in theaters as well as on Disney Plus. People were kind of a little suspicious about the huge, gigantic drop off. I think this was like the biggest drop in all of Marvel movies, where Black Widow was number 1, and now it's like, what was it now? What number is it?
Number 4.
Number 4. It could not hold that top spot for 2 consecutive weeks. After the first week, it was gone. So the contract was for Scarlett Johansson was based off of the box office revenue. However, because they are now going with Disney Plus and
those aren't being recorded.
Yeah, those numbers are not factoring into box office numbers. That is something completely different. And because no one really knows how much money is getting generated from this Disney Plus stuff, you can't, it's almost like that money's just gone. The actors never see it. And because of that, Scarlett Johansson was actually pretty smart and actually tried to renegotiate her contract before the release of the movie because of this, this simultaneous release stuff.
Yeah.
Disney just completely ignored her. They didn't reach out to her, nothing. They just ghosted her.
We're releasing this thing. Oh, wait, what? You wanted to renegotiate? Why didn't you say so?
So because of that, Scarlett Johansson is suing Disney for... I'm not actually too sure what the actual details
dollar amount is.
Well, not even the dollar amount. I don't know what the details of like what her accusations are. But I do know that it is sufficient enough that Emma Stone is also jumping on that train because
for Cruella.
Yeah, she was also, hit with something pretty similar.
I mean, I don't think Cruella was going to do as well as Black Widow, even if it was in theaters.
Yeah,
that's true.
I don't think it was, but I mean, it is still money that she's missing out on. So
yeah, it's about half. It did about half as good as Black Widow so far. But then I heard Emily Blunt is also jumping on board, possibly, right?
Emily Blunt? With what?
Quiet Place Part 2, because it was only 45 days that was exclusive in theaters.
I don't know about that one. I know that there was another actor who is suing, but for something completely unrelated at the same time. But it was Gerard Butler.
Wait, why is he suing?
Yeah, Gerard Butler is suing for...
Gamer was like a long time ago.
300 was also Gamer a long 2. Time
ago. He's suing for Olympus Has Fallen, actually.
What?
Why?
So this one was kind of interesting. So I started reading up on this.
Didn't win an Oscar?
For all the money that went to the Oscar campaign, for all the trips he had to make. This was made around the same time that Scarlett Johansson announced her lawsuit. But this one was interesting because this one's a lot shadier. He essentially, after Olympus Has Fallen came out, that was in 2013, right? Yeah, that was
the original one.
Yeah, 2013. He actually hired someone to look at the books, make sure all the numbers were correct and whatnot. And what they found was that none of the numbers added up from what their contract stipulated. In fact, there were millions missing from what they said they generated versus what they paid him. So
now there's 10 mil.
I don't even know. I know it's a very, very large amount. I think it's like more than what Scarlett Johansson was asking for her renegotiation. Something like that. It's more that they were not reporting the actual numbers that the movie made so that they can pocket that money, essentially. So they're underreporting it.
It made $170 million at the box office.
He just now uncovered this, or... Because they filmed like 2 more movies after that.
Yeah, this is from 2013.
I think it was because the guys who he hired just came up with enough evidence to support it.
Oh, okay.
I think that's
forensic accounting. Finally, all those hours spent at the CPA's office finally paid off.
But now Gerard Butler's going to make a movie out of it.
As much as I think that Scarlett Johansson and Emma Stone...
Paramount is falling.
Shut up, David.
Hey, I would watch that. Imagine Gerard Butler just goes face to face with all the iconic
movie execs.
Yeah, all the movie execs, not even the Paramount IP, is just the movie execs that you know and love.
Kicking them one by one into bottomless pits.
Yeah, take this, Mr. Paramount. Take this, Mrs. Paramount. But...
Take this, Paramount Jr.
As much as I think that Scarlett Johansson and Emma Stone deserve a proper contract renegotiation for what they've done along with the Disney Plus stuff, I think that Gerard Butler's current accusations are a lot stronger, like much stronger.
Well, I wonder how much he spent on like the investigation, or like has he outspent like what was lost?
I don't know, but I'm very excited to see what will come of this. Either way, I think all these lawsuits happening right now are going to be very interesting because one, the Gerard Butler lawsuit will set precedents for every other major actor associated with it wasn't Paramount, I can't remember, it was some other company that was working alongside with Paramount to get that movie out, but every other actor that has been working with them might also be suffering from the same thing, so we'll see what happens with that.
I don't know if suffering's the right
Millennium
word,
Films,
yeah, Millennium Films.
Yeah.
So there could be a lot of underreporting for all of the actors that are represented by Millennium Films. So we'll see what happens with that. And for Scarlett Johansson and Emma Stone, we're probably going to be seeing a lot more movies that are released in theaters and simultaneously on Disney Plus. And if everyone starts standing up with Scarlett Johansson, I mean, Kevin Feige already has. A whole bunch of other Marvel stars have kind of showed their support for what she's saying. The only problem is none of them really have anything coming up, so it's not going to impact Disney in any way.
However, so it's not like Benedict Cumberbatch just standing up and like stopping this movie from next year.
Well, I mean, even if Benedict Cumberbatch did say anything, like he doesn't have anything immediately coming up. I'm talking about like, I guess the big
Shang-Chi.
Yeah, the crux would be Simu Liu or Liu. Is
yeah,
that his
whatever.
name? Yeah, he would be the next one to come up. If he says something, then they might have something on their hands. But I know Kevin Feige is definitely in 100% backing Scarlett Johansson right now. So
I heard he has a kind of another motive for it is he wants Disney to kind of back the hell off and just be like, hey, let Marvel Studios be its own thing.
Well, I mean, like, he's kind of been waving that flag for a while now. He's definitely he's been kicking them off for a while, saying like, hey, I know what the fuck I'm doing. Let me work. And I'm all for that. He's definitely more than capable. Yeah. He knows the whole roadmap. Why would you mess with something that is doing so fucking well?
It's like we're talking about they're making boatloads of money already at this point. Just let him kind of keep the money printing machine going. There was one last thing I wanted to talk about in reference to this. There was a very small Twitter war that's kind of like happening where people are saying that that Marvel would have been successful regardless if, let's say, RDJ wasn't Iron Man. Right? Okay. I just wanted to make sure that we're on the same page.
Who even said that, and why are they being given a platform to speak?
I don't know. There was enough traction that it got a couple of I don't want to say headlines, but we're talking about like Screen Rant and some of the other movie outlets that were kind of talking about people were. There was like this really long battle, I guess, that people were kind of talking about how it doesn't matter what stars you put into these roles, that they would have been that the comics themselves are iconic, the source material is iconic enough that they stand on their own. And I was like, if it wasn't for the fact that RDJ played Iron Man, I don't think that initial movie would have started this kind of like domino effect of all these like comic book movies became cool.
Yeah, right? I think one of the good things about all these Marvel films is like in itself the casting. Like each person, like for the most part, I think all the major Marvel characters have been cast pretty spot on. It's incredible, like if you say Captain America, I can't, you don't really like think of any like video game character or anything. It's like you go straight to Chris Evans. That's the face that comes into your mind. Like they've done like a fucking great ass job. Like they have shifted a whole memorable character's identity onto an actual person.
You can't see Thanos without seeing Josh Brolin.
No, that's what was incredible about that too, because they had Thanos before they even cast Josh Brolin, and now I rewatched the original movies, the Avengers movies, and showing Thanos originally, I'm just like, who the fuck is that? Joker? I forgot they actually showed him, and now when you show, Infinity War Josh Brolin, I'm like, oh, okay, now I remember.
It doesn't make sense without him now at this point.
I feel like they should do like a Star Wars style retro edit where they go back and put Josh Brolin into those scenes instead of whoever the fuck CGI dude that is.
But that'd be kind of cool.
Which one? What?
Oh, like the extra scenes,
like you know how how George Lucas mistakenly went back and re-edited all the Star Wars movies with like new technology.
Like
they should go back
every 6 months.
Yeah, they should put that to work to good, like put it to some good, and put Josh Brolin in as Thanos in all those scenes.
That would have been cool. Yeah, I think that would have been really cool, honestly. Speaking of all that Star Wars stuff, I want to say that argument that was brought up about how you could fit anyone into that role and it would have been okay because it's Marvel, right? Like, I don't think that is true at all, because we do have like a very big IP, one that has spanned decades, has a very large following, and has fallen completely flat on its face, and now it is definitely in the red zone. I'm talking about Star Wars right now. I mean, a lot of fans were not happy with the new trilogy, not only the new trilogy, but the spin-off movies as well. And if we're talking about like iconic characters and just plasting anyone into it, does anyone remember who Alden Ehrenreich is?
Is that who plays Solo?
But we all remember who Jar Jar Binks is.
Really, who's the actor?
I have an unpopular opinion that I didn't hate Solo. I don't know why a lot of people hated it. I didn't hate it.
I didn't hate it, but I'm frustrated with it because it could have been better. It could have been much, much better. It wasn't like a terrible movie, but it definitely wasn't like a great movie.
Like, I think I enjoyed Solo better than like Episode 8.
Yeah,
based on the ratings, I'm pretty sure Ben enjoyed any other movie on the planet more than Episode 8.
Well, let's take a look at my ratings.
I think he actually ranked Episode 8 over 9.
Yeah, let me go find where Episode 8 is. Hold on, let me get the ladder.
Oh wait, it's right.
You put it up high. I thought you would have buried it in the ground at this point.
Oh, do you want to see what's buried in the ground? Let me get the shovel. Hold on. The Star Wars Christmas special. Here it is. Episode 9. There it is. Episode 9. Ah, man, this was a thing. This wasn't fan fiction. This was a thing.
The whole trilogy was a thing.
Yeah, I'm very upset about this.
I mean, the first out of the 3, I think, kind of started something. We're like, okay, that's not too bad.
7 was the strongest of the 3.
Yeah,
even though it was like a carbon copy of 4. But
I think 7 did so well just because no one knew what was going to come after it. It set up a lot of mystery. It was like, I'm okay to see where this kind of goes. It didn't do anything terrible.
You kind of gave it some more leeway, right? Like you gave it some more slack. And it's like, okay, there's a possibility that they could really expand this, make this one good. And then the next 2, it's just like, what the hell was that?
Yeah. J.J. Abrams was given a interview. I can't remember where. It might have been a Hollywood Reporter, where he was talking about his recent projects and any kind of any regrets he had with them. And he was quoted as saying, "I wish that when I was brought onto a large project, I would hope that the people in charge would have a good understanding of where they're going." And a lot of people definitely construed this to him talking about Star Wars, because there have just been so many, Disney's pretty tight-lipped about what actually goes on behind the scenes. Whenever you hear about it, it's all laughs, giggles, like, oh, everyone's getting along, everyone's happy. But you always hear about the things like, oh, this guy hates this guy, blah, blah, blah. Disney will never comment on that publicly. One of the big rumors going around the mill was that Kathleen Kennedy, the person who was the Kevin Feige of Star Wars at the time, she had no idea what to do with Star Wars. There was no roadmap, nothing. They just tried to ship it out as fast as possible so they can get the Disneyland theme park going, so they can get the merchandise rolling. But they had no idea like where it was ultimately gonna land. So that's why there's such a big tonal shift between 7, 8, then 9. It's like 7, everyone hated it because it was like more of the same. All right, let's do something completely different. Nope, no one liked that. Okay, let's just give the fans what they want. And then the other half got angry again. So
you can never make anybody happy.
No one hates Star Wars as much as Star Wars fans.
Yeah.
Alrighty. Let's go ahead and move over to our movie of the week for this week, The Green Knight. Ben, go ahead.
What? I did the other one.
Yeah,
but you also
me and Ben did it last time. It's you.
You picked this movie.
Okay, fine. I'll do it. All right.
It's gonna be a Slumdog Millionaire.
No, it's not.
Just watch.
Oh, now you know
I
what
was gonna
Slumdog
say, who
Millionaire is.
wants
Now
to
you
be
know
a
who's
green
Oh, I'm
knight?
sorry. I mean, it's gonna be a Hereditary.
There you go. There you go. Shit, I can't do this.
Oh, he wasn't prepared. I got it.
What do you mean? Of course I wasn't prepared because it's your shit. There's a Power Rangers thing in here somewhere.
Yeah. Anything green is Power Rangers related.
Yeah, I mean, go green knight, go green knight, go dun dun, and then
That's not how it goes.
And then he plays his flute. I mean, his trumpet, and then
he becomes a knight.
And then a giant wooden dragon Zord comes out of the ground, and then he comes into it.
And the Power Rangers theme song is played on like a lute or something.
Yeah.
Medieval
drums and
stuff.
Instead of the guy that's like in a costume, like in the Dragon Zord, it's one of those medieval little puppet things. Yeah, that's my thing, Dave.
Was that the synopsis?
That was a synopsis,
okay.
Dave.
Okay.
That's what you get.
Excellent. Okay. All right. So,
hey, all right. Let me give it a stat. Let me take a stat at it then.
Here we go.
All right, here we go. Hey, gang. Let's all follow the story of this guy he's a guy in, like, I don't know, medieval times, and he wants to be a knight. He's not a knight yet, but he wants to be a knight, and then he gets the opportunity to become a knight, and he becomes a knight. Well, actually, that doesn't happen till the end, but he goes. But in order to prove himself, he takes on a challenge from the Green Knight, who's kind of like a Trent from Lord of the Rings, or something like that. But anyways, he's duped into fulfilling a quest where he has to go meet him a year from Christmas. Why a year? I don't know. But then he goes out to seek, and he goes on a bunch of adventures on his quest. But there's some side quests. There's some grinding, some leveling up.
There's a lot of grinding.
Yeah. And then he gets to his quest, and then he complete it? I don't know. Stay tuned for Green Knight 2.
That's pretty good. I like that. All right. So I guess Stu gave us the synopsis. Ben, what were your thoughts on this?
So after I exited the theater with Letty, I asked her what you think about it. She's like, I don't know.
Interesting.
She definitely
Irene said the same thing.
Yeah, it's definitely a very abstract movie. I want to say that without looking at the ratings or anything, I want to say that this is definitely one of those movies that has like a really high critic score and like it has like a 0% audience score or something.
You would be 100% correct, Ben.
Okay, good. Okay, so this is have you guys watched Drive or anything before?
No.
Wait, sorry, say that again.
Have you watched the movie Drive?
Is that with that guy, the blonde guy?
Yes. Ryan Gosling.
I haven't watched it. Yeah.
Well, that kind of suffered a very similar fate where, everyone really liked the music from it, right? We got, Kavinsky's Night Call and everything from it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's
I didn't know that was from that movie.
Yeah, it was pretty fucking hype. So the movie and all the trailers advertise it as like Fast and Furious, pretty much. All the trailers were just like, and with Ryan Gosling in this jacket, and he's all.
I'd watch that. I'd watch that movie.
That happens for maybe 5 minutes of the movie. The rest of the movie is Ryan Gosling not talking and just awkwardly trying to talk to a girl.
But it got a 93 on Rotten Tomatoes, but the audience score is 79%, so that wasn't.
No, that's higher. It's a lot higher. It's definitely one of those movies where I think it knows that it is a art house film, but marketing is all like, how the fuck do we get average Joe to sit and watch this movie? There's driving in it. People like driving. And so they just advertise the fuck out of that. And similar with like Bridget to Terabithia. Have you guys watched that before or know that story?
I've heard about that one.
No.
But aren't you just repeating, like, isn't Bridget to Terabithia, isn't that a English movie?
Is it? I don't know.
Like built like in Britain. I feel like a lot of these are all kind of like based in Europe, like in Britain, like these English like movies. Like, for example, this remind me of In the Earth, where it got really good critic scores and then really low audience scores. And then I walked out of the movie going, I could see why critics would give it a really high score, but I could also understand why my wife did not like the movie.
Yeah, critics tend to be too far up their own asses to know like when something is good to the average person or not.
I think it's one of those films where it's like, like the director, all the cast and crew know that, okay, this is what we're making. But then the marketing people have to figure out some crafty way of selling it to everybody. And that's how you get those asses in those seats. You market it as something completely different that people are not going to like. But it seems interesting just from the trailers in itself. It's like, oh, Dev Patel, he's fighting this grotesque, monstrous thing. Cool. All right, let's see what happens. That there was no fighting in it. There was one like good axe swing. That's it. Like, yeah, I was mentioning Bridge to Terabithia. What was hot at that time? Fucking Chronicles of Narnia and shit, right? And that's what they marketed it as. You know what that fucking movie's about? Some girl fucking drowning to death.
What?
Yeah. It was some girl.
That's not how I thought that. What? It
was like, okay, all the marketing.
It's a Disney movie.
All that marketing for that film was like, oh, look, they're in Fantasyland. Wow. The magical monsters and creatures and these kids.
Or The Never-Ending Story.
I never watched The Never-Ending Story, so I don't know.
Wait, Never-Ending Story was good. Shut up.
No, what I'm saying is like it's built as this like fantasy world.
Right.
Well, no.
I'm not comparing it in terms of the critical reception or how good the movie is. I agree with you, Stu, but yeah, I'm assuming that's how they build it based on what Ben's talking about.
Yeah, they just they see some interesting few moments of the film and they just focus on that and hope that someone bites for it. And I think it did work. You know, a lot of people did go to see this, and there were an abnormal amount of people at my showing. So I was like, oh, wow, why do people want to watch this A24 film about high fantasy shit? They're not going to like it. And completely right.
Yeah. Speaking of which, I had an experience which I haven't griped about in a long time because it hasn't happened. But sure enough, it's kind of like what you're saying. Like more people were probably duped into seeing this movie than you'd expect. And so I buy my seat, I buy my ticket on the app, and I was like, oh look, good, nobody. I'll sit over here because there's only like 4 other people in the theater. And what happens when I walk in? There's someone sitting right fucking next to my seat.
Nice.
And so I went to go sit in the front row seats because I was like, nope, not doing this again.
This is the one thing that the pandemic took away from us that I was happy to. I was like, oh yeah, it's 6 seats in between the next group. Hell yeah, sign me up. And then they lift the sanctions and people start going back to doing weird stuff. It's like, why are you sitting next to my boy Stu like that?
And you know, just to even a more recent example, today I actually had to go into jury duty.
Ooh.
And I'm sitting there in the waiting room, and you know they have a lower number of people because all the stuff going on, but so there's plenty of seats kind of scattered all about. Somebody sat right behind me when there were wide open seats to the left and to the right with nobody. And I'm like, what, dude, why?
Yeah, it's kind of frustrating now because, during pandemic times, if you go to urinal or anything, everyone respected that, in between rule, right? Where you go to and pee at urinal and no one said anything. You just automatically go every other. Now we're back to the regular one, right? And back at the beer fest
where they want to share the same urinal with you.
Yeah, everyone's just sharing the same urinal now. And just like you can't, like everyone's just like putting your arms around each other and helping each other get it out and everything. It's bad now. It's back to pre-pandemic times. It's bad.
But I'm assuming that it was not socially distanced at that line that you were standing in for Dune as well.
Well, actually, that one was. It was socially distant, but then when we got into the theater, everyone was next to each other. So,
good thing we socially distance in the line.
Yeah,
but pack in the theater as much as you can.
You know, I want to say that for films like this, I would like to have my distance from people, but there are different movies where, you know, I do kind of enjoy being packed together like sardines. You know, like if you're gonna go see like Avengers or something, it's cool to have like a good crowd with you. You know, like to share that enthusiasm with. Like I have very fond memories of watching opening night and watching Endgame, and you know when everyone starts coming out of those portals, you know, like the whole fucking crowd goes nuts. That's pretty cool, you know. I don't really enjoy that if I'm fucking watching
Green Knight.
Yeah, Green Knight, you know, very dark, somber moment, and some guy is next to me and just like watching it, you know, checking their phone or something, or like, you know, being like, "What the fuck is going on?" You know, and you could just hear it like right in your ear. It's just like.
There was someone in my theater who, right after like the last shot of the movie, you just hear him go, "What?"
I could definitely see a lot of that happening for this particular film. It's not a movie you can take really at face value. It's very allegorical. I think there was a
abstract.
Yeah, it's very abstract. There's a lot put into every scene, and you know, Stu, you were talking about how like watching Tenet was like doing homework, right? I feel like this is fucking doing homework.
Yeah, but
like,
for English class.
Yeah, it's not like you have to
science or physics class or something.
Yeah, you don't have to look up a fucking diagram. You actually have to look at this and see all the references to this one fucking shot. It's like, oh, hey, why is it this color? Oh, because in 1770, blah blah blah, you know, author blah 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 referencing a particular shade of green, and just like all of that. And I do think it's a very, very dense movie. And I want to say it's one of those films that is going to be very divisive because it was made for people who knew what they were getting into, you know, people who were like and excited to see what the take on this, you know, stupid old ass poem was. And I think it was a good departure from the source material. It's really stylish. It's very insightful. The fucking music was was really good. I want to give it a very, very solid 7 out of 10.
That is not where I thought he was going to go with, Stu. I'm going to be honest with you.
I mean, because I don't think it's a bad movie. I think it's a good movie. It's well made, well acted, very well. And I think, you know, I would like to think that they used almost all like actual like physical like set locations. They didn't like green screen like, oh, someone went to New Zealand and got some video footage of a field and then they just green screened them onto the field or something. So I always appreciate the movies that put in the effort. Those kinds of movies will always get points with me, that don't just fall back to, oh, well, this green screen or whatever screen is going to be cheaper. So definitely like the setting and everything, a lot of the just the environment was very nice. One thing, whoever worked on the editing of the movie, who was in charge of overlaying text, they need to be fired.
It was old English script.
They need to be fired or never work in Hollywood again.
I could not make out some of it, and I was pretty bummed because it looked very nice. It's just like I can't fucking read what the fuck.
I'm not even subtitles for that.
I'm not even talking about like the font, like the crazy font or like the old English font or whatever. Yeah. I'm talking about when they flash it on the screen for a half second and you don't even get a chance to decipher it. It's already hard to read in that goofy font.
Yeah,
and they was like, here's text, here's another text, more text. I'm like, wait, I don't know what you're saying.
Yeah, it's one of those films where you like I had to. Okay, this was terrible. I was eating popcorn at the time, and I got like a popcorn kernel stuck in my throat, right? And I was like trying to get it out, and I wanted to cough or something. I'm like, but it was so fucking packed in theater. I'm like, oh, you know, it's just like,
oh my god, he's got COVID.
Yeah, pretty much. I was kind of scared of that. I'm like, oh, good thing I got my trusty soda. And then I tried sipping it. I was out. And I was like, fuck, you know? And it's the worst feeling when you have to cough, but you can't, and you're just trying to hold it in. And like, I was like, wait, I could just step outside and just like, you know, clear my throat. But at the same time, this was a movie where so much fucking shit is happening. And well, not so much shit. It's just like I feel if you miss like even a few
you
seconds,
have to pay attention to every detail, or else you kind of miss the overall whatever's going on.
There's a lot of references and a lot of just things happening in the background that if you don't like pick up on it, you completely lose it. It's not. I mean, there is a plot to the movie, but there's so much supplementary information and material going into it that I feel like you definitely miss out a lot, even if you look away for a few seconds. So I didn't want to do that. So it's a very draining movie. Very, very. It requires a lot of attention.
Yeah. And typically I'm not also a big fan of movies where it's like it's so like kind of it's not clear to the point. Like I don't want them to like just spoon feed you what's happening in the movie, but I also don't want the opposite where it's like you don't get abstract. The movie unless you know like the background source material or like the you didn't read the director's personal diary about how this scene was like supposed to portray something. Like I'm also not a fan of that, which this movie was kind of like that.
Yeah, I definitely got that feeling. It was like teetering on that edge.
Spark notes before walking in.
It's like I don't want it to just be like them saying I'm going to go over here and do this, but then I also don't want it to just not say anything about what's happening. But I digress. I did enjoy it. It's definitely like a interesting movie. So I'd probably give it the same, about a 7.
Okay. For me, a lot of the things that you guys are talking about, I think by the end of it, I could appreciate why critics were giving it such a high score. It's getting 90 on Tomato Meter, but probably around 24%, 52% for the audience score. And I could see why there's kind of like this mixed thing. I could understand what they were kind of going for. I really appreciated a lot of the lighting and the cinematography, and they did a really good job with what they had, right, with the source material and trying to develop the story and make it interesting. I feel like if I were to give a rating for this, I could see why people would give it what it is, like the high score that they would. So if I could, I'm going to give 2 scores. For what the movie is and what they're trying to accomplish, I'll give it an 8. But in terms of like, is this my type of movie or if I would enjoyed it? I think for me, the pacing is a little bit on the slower side. So that part was a little bit off for me, but I kind of understood that kind of feeds into this like epic long story, right? They're trying to push this mood that it took them a long time. It's a long journey, right? All of these things are very intentional what they're doing. But in terms of like, would I have gone out to go see this just for fun? Again, probably not. So for that, I'd probably give it like a 5. So from a critic standpoint, I could see why somebody would give it like an 8 or a 9 or even a 10 in terms of artistic direction, storytelling, all that stuff. Great stuff. But like enjoyment, I'm like kind of like, it was okay. So that's why it's a 5.
I mean, it definitely could have used like a sword fight or something.
I think so. But I feel like I was talking to my brother-in-law, and his best friend is a history teacher, and he's actually covered the King Arthur's the poems about King Arthur, right? We're talking about Excalibur, Camelot, and all that kind of stuff. And this is a pretty well-known poem. And he says that in terms of accuracy to the source material, it's pretty close.
Really? I've heard opposite.
Well, I mean, in terms of just like they're obviously they took some differences, like for example, like the ending that we'll talk about, that was vastly different. And then
is the part about him jerking off into his hand in the poem, or was that artistic liberty?
That's artistic liberty.
They did it all in 3 shots.
And under 30 seconds. A world record for the Green Ranger. I mean, Knight. Yeah, so there's stuff that like that we can talk about really quickly. But yeah, in terms of like general direction and overall story, I think they get pretty close. He said that it was pretty close. He enjoyed it based on the fact that it was really authentic. But if you didn't have the foreknowledge like he did, then you kind of don't know what you're getting yourself into, kind of like what you were talking about, Ben. And for some reason, the entire time I was watching this movie, I was thinking, oh my gosh, this is another in the Earth again. we have another English film, which might be a little too artsy for its own good. So like general wide audience will probably not like it as much, but I'm sure a lot of the critics who are all about movies, storytelling, that kind of stuff, and be, oh wow, this is such an artistic, great movie, and it kind of gets lost in the general audience. So I was like, oh, it's another English film who's too good for its own britches.
You know, if we're talking about In the Earth, I want to say that the difference between In the Earth and this is that, you know, after In the Earth, I had no desire to look up like actual supplementary material for that to see like, oh, what do they mean by this and this and this. I mean, I did
begrudgingly watch supplemental material because you were too busy throwing up.
Yeah, that too. Like, fuck them for doing all that. All right, fuck them. This movie, you know, although there was a lot that you might not get right away, I did enjoy reading up on it and seeing like, oh, okay, this is what they're talking about. Like, In the Earth can go fuck itself. All right, In the Earth, I hated everything about it. I hated going home. I hated knowing that we had to talk about that shit. I hated going up on fucking Wikipedia and all these fucking discussion threads, reading up about what each fucking shot meant, and I hated overall that it ultimately meant fucking nothing. Like, there was no fucking thought or any kind of direction that they were going for, or any like overall like meaning behind everything. And I hated that every discussion thread I read was the same thing, where everyone's like, is it me or does this movie fucking suck?
That's funny because we also had the same feeling about Annihilation, but you defended that.
Oh man, let's go into Annihilation. Welcome to Dose and a Half Annihilation, where we talk about the zombie bear. Oh my god, can we talk about the zombie bear?
If you want to talk about zombie bear, Ben, seriously, go check out Kingdom. Just watch the first.
I don't speak Korean.
Episode.
I'm sorry.
Come on, dude. They have zombie animals, or at least watch the prequel. Asahin of the North, dude, they have a zombie tiger.
We were seeing that. We saw Army of the Dead.
And zombie deers.
We've seen
zombie Dearest?
A zombie deer.
Ooh, wait, someone coined that. We gotta make that zombie Dearest.
Dearest?
Zombie Dearest.
What's
it's probably going to be
a true romance in the age of zombies.
Love never dies. There you go, zombie Dearest. Here we go.
Trademark.
Copyright.
Let's TM.
Cinco's Entertainment Team.
Cinco's Worldwide.
Cinco's Prestige Worldwide. Let's see what else. Is there even a point to doing a spoiler zone? I'm pretty sure the source material, the story, and all that stuff.
We've gone on quite a while.
Exactly.
I will say, I'll ask this as our spoiler.
Belt on or off?
Yeah.
Do you keep it on or do you keep it off?
Or actually, $1 million rupees.
Yeah. Wow. I don't know if this was actually part of the source material because I didn't read it. But does he get his head chopped or at the end or what?
At the end, I believe he doesn't, right?
Source material, yeah. So essentially the way it works out is the Green Knight at the very end is actually the same guy as the guy in the castle. But he is
like the king
working on behalf of
the Lord. Yeah, that Lord.
Yeah, the Lord in the castle. He is working on behalf of a sorceress who happens to be the half sister of King Arthur, who is now testing all of his knights. And Gerwin or Garwin, however you pronounce it, stands up to it. And so he gets to the very, very end, and he finally shows courage. And the knight, the Green Knight, comes all the way down to the top of his neck, and then he says, because you've shown bravery, now you can go. Now you've become a knight. That kind of thing. I think that for me would have been a better ending than the way that I don't know why they.
Now he says, "Now off with your head."
Yeah. But he does call him Little Knight at that point, so he technically earns his knighthood. So that was the artistic.
And then immediately is killed.
Yeah.
I did like the ending, I liked that it was like a small little jest at him. He's like, well, off with your head. And you're going to have to wonder, it's like, wait, like for real?
That's what I was like wondering. It's like, oh, this is like a neat little test, like to test if, he was actually like a honorable or righteous person worthy of knighthood. But then it was like, wait, so you're actually gonna kill him or what?
Yeah, I like that because in the end he did fail pretty much all of the tests of character on his journey, right? Like he spent a whole year still fucking around, and then at the last minute he's like, "Oh fuck, I gotta write this fucking 20,000 word essay, and it's due at 8. So let's fucking do this." I have a
senior project, damn it.
Yeah, so he did all. I mean, he got to the end, but what did he actually do everything well? Like every test that he came across, he failed pretty spectacularly at all of them. It was only until the very, very end that he actually finds something that he could show that he said he was a good person, or that he was, honorable, right? Like it was that green sash that they spent so much time on and so much jizz on, right? It was we don't know if like it was actually enchanted, if it was actually going to do anything, if it was actually going to protect him from that final blow, right? Like what was it supposed to do? Make a fucking force field? Who knows? But in that last moment, he decides to take it off because that was his last clinging moment.
Take it off.
Yeah. It was that last clinging moment to any kind of hope that he would survive getting his head chopped off, right? However small that chance would be. And he took it off because he's like, to be honorable. He says, I'm not going to run away from this. Like, I have to do this.
Be a man of his word because it's blow for blow. I mean, if you had known it was blow for blow, why chop the guy's head off if you know that the game is going to come back?
Maybe there was two answers to this test where this is the harder, like the hard answer is what the one he got. The easy answer was just to walk up and just like scratch him on the face or something with a sword.
Actually,
it's like a riddle.
The easiest answer would be not to do anything at all. He had the choice to not. Just fucking sit back and do nothing. But
but then he wouldn't be a knight.
So, I mean,
the reason why he wasn't a knight was at the very, very beginning when King Arthur says, "Hey, Sir Gawain, can you regale us with a tale while we wait for food or whatever?" But here's the thing: is that he looked around the table and he says, "What do you see that's in common with all these men?" Right? He says they're all legends. He doesn't have a story, so this is his way of becoming a knight: is for him to have an epic tale. An epic tale. That's the only way he would be able to do that.
Yeah.
So that's like his journey. I guess is the only way to do it.
I think if he had just paid attention to the rules of the game, it would have saved him a lot of grief.
Wait, what? Heartache. What? Yeah. I'll volunteer.
Wait, what is it about? I have to go meet him a year from now, and he does what to me?
We're gonna share a beer, tall frosty. What?
Okay, I'm gonna kill him, guys. Off with his head. I got him, guys. Look, I did it. Wait, what? I have to what?
Yep, man of his word.
But I think that all kind of feeds into like his ill-conceived notion of like what honor is and what it is to be a knight, right? He this is his idea of like getting the title, like the prestige around his name, right? Like to chop off that guy's head and be done with it. That would make for a great story. That would be something that you could tell to someone. But he didn't expect any consequences from that. And then he goes on this journey, and all of his actions don't really add up to like that image he has of himself, right? Like the first time he gets out of the castle, like there's this really long shot of him like running away from or not running away, but he's like riding off on his horse.
The kids.
Yeah, and the kids are like, hey, and he doesn't acknowledge them. He just is so fucking focused.
In his own head.
Yeah, he's just so fucking focused on looking very regal and very fucking knightly, right?
Too cool for school.
Apparently. Yeah, but then like as soon as the sheep herder comes by and like blocks off the kids, he like starts panting, and he looks terrified, and that's who he is. He doesn't know what the fuck he's doing, and it keeps showing up over and over again. He goes out into the forest, he meets a fucking grave robber, and he's like, hey, what do I get for my service? He's like, nothing, you get my thanks. Just like, I'm too good for you. I mean, I'm pretty sure if he did something else besides that instead of pissing him off, he would have like not been hogtied in the middle of the forest, left for dead, right?
Tweren't enough.
Yeah, tweren't enough. If he, he went and found that haunted girl, right? Saint Wilshire,
Wait, isn't that what's her name from Falcon? Captain Falcon?
It is. It's the same actress.
Yeah, I didn't find her so pretentious in this movie.
Yeah.
A role I actually liked her in.
She didn't lose her head over everything.
She'll never be the head of a major corporation.
Yeah, it's like, but stuff like that. Like, he's like fucking bargaining with a dead spirit. Like, hey, what do I get out of this? Just like,
hey, what do you give me in exchange?
Yeah, it's just like, what the fuck do you care? I'm dead. I thought like the good bits of humor in it were pretty good too. Where she's like floating right towards him and he tries to grab her. He's like, what the fuck are you doing? She's like, I don't know. It's just like, yeah, why would you do that? It's just like, I don't know. Little bits of that sprinkled out, but it just kind of adds up to his character being someone who isn't really sure of himself or what he wants. Like, he doesn't even know what's gonna fucking happen when he gets to the end, right? Like, it finally hits him when he's like kneeling down and the Green Knights are like winding up his act. He's like, oh fuck, I'm gonna die.
This was the rule.
Yeah, he's just like, wait. So
paid attention in school.
The whole story is very much like a very anti-hero story. Like, not even like an anti-hero like, oh, look at me, I'm Tom Hardy and I'm Venom. Just like, no, very much in the way that he's not heroic at all. He doesn't have any real redeeming qualities. He's a coward and he knows it, and he's trying to hide it as best as he can, and we're just following around trying to see what his end goal is.
It sounds like our main character from our last movie that we reviewed, LeBron in Space Jam: A New Legacy.
You see, the Green Knight is really just an allegory for Space Jam: A New Legacy.
He's just an athlete. Well, he's just a
Green
member
Knight.
of royalty. And he didn't want this, but the world clearly wants him to be something he's not, a knight. So he lucks into it, gets sucked into the allegory. Algae Ori. And I kept thinking he kept calling himself like algae, and I was like, wait, as in like the stuff that's in the bottom of the pool?
That's another criticism going back to last week's episode of that movie I forgot to mention. It was really lazy writing to call him algae rhythm. Like, it was really lazy.
I mean, Don Cheadle did the best he could with that part, but damn, man.
That was rough. War Machine could not save
War Machine in Hotel Rwanda. I can't remember what other stuff he's in.
All right.
Fresh Prince of Bel-Air in that one episode.
Oh yeah.
Was he like 5 years old or something? Like,
he looked pretty fucking young.
Anyways.
He was Will Smith's friend. His name was
DJ Jazzy Jeff.
Huh?
Yep.
Yeah,
DJ Jazzy Jeff?
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they throw him out every episode.
Cool.
Ah!
All right. So we're going to go ahead and wrap this one up. Guys, movie of the week next week. You guys have a choice. Suicide Squad or Jungle Cruise?
Suicide Squad. Let's go.
All right.
Woo!
Yeah, I was like, Suicide Squad will be our movie of the week next week.
I mean, more excited
it can't be worse than the last Suicide Squad. Let's just say that.
Well, yeah, that's true. The original was pretty bad.
Yeah. So this one's from the genius of James Gunn or whatever. Might as well be Tim Gunn, but we'll see. Hopefully, maybe they turn this out. John Cena's in this movie. Idris Elba as well. So yeah.
And Damien, what's his face?
And the shark that eats people.
Oh,
King Shark.
Sylvester Stallone. And...
Wait, Jab or Streaks is in this movie?
Okay. Wow, that's taking it back.
Oh,
Three Jacks.
Oh man, that was a very long.
Hey guys, let's rewatch it.
No. All right, guys, thanks so much for hanging out with us today. Don't forget to follow us wherever you're getting your podcasts: SoundCloud, Spotify, YouTube, Google, and Apple Podcasts. We're also available on Twitch Monday through Thursday at twitch.tv/dose.5incos. As always, I've been your host, David.
I'm Stuart.
Guys, don't forget to tip your Reiki Master. Stay safe out there. We'll see you guys in the next one. Okay, bye.
Bye.